Filipino by Carlos P. Romulo. I am a Filipino inheritor of a glorious past, hostage to the uncertain future. As such, I must prove equal to a twofold task, the task of meeting my responsibility to the past, and the task of performing my obligation to the future. I sprung for hardy race shall many generations remove of ancient Malayan pioneers. Across the centuries, the memory comes rushing back to me of brown skin in putting out sea in the ship that were as frail as their hearts were stay out. Over the sea, I see them come, borne upon the following wave and the whistling wind. Carried upon the mighty swell of hope, hope in the free abundance of a new land that was to be their home and their children's forever. This is the land they sought and found, every inch of shore that their eyes first set upon, every hill and mountain that beckoned to them with a green and purple invitation, every mile of rolling plain that their view encompassed, every river and lake that promised a plentiful living and the fruitfulness of commerce is a hallowed spot to me. By the strength of their hearts and hands, by every right of law, human and divine, this land and all the appurtenances thereof, the black and fertile soil, the seas and lakes and rivers, teeming with the fish, the forests with their inexhaustible wealth in wild life and timber, the mountains with their bowels swollen with the minerals, the whole of this rich and happy land has been, for countries without number, the land of my fathers. This land I received in trust from them, and in trust will pass it to my children, so on until the world is no more. I am a Filipino. In my blood runs immortal seed of her heroes, and set the flower down the centuries in deeds of courage and defense. In my veins, yes, pulses the same hot blood that sent Lapu-Lapu to battle against the first invader of this land. Raved Lacandula in this combat against the alien foe that drove Diego Silang and the Guhoy into rebellion against the foreign oppressor. The seed is immortal. It is the self-same seed that flowered in the heart of Jose Rizal that morning in the Bagumbayan with a volley of shots but an end to all that was mortal of him and made the spirit deathless forever. The same that flowered in the hearts of Bonifacio in a Balintawak, of Gregorio de la Pilar and Tirad Paz, of Antonio Lona and Kalumpit, that bloomed in the flowers of frustration in the sad hearts of Emilio Aguinaldo at Palanan, and yet burst forth royally again in the proud heart of Manuel L. Quizon when he stood at last of the threshold of ancient Malacañang Palace in the symbolic act of procession and racial vindication. The seed I bear within me is an immortal seed. It is the mark of my manhood, the symbol of dignity as a human being. Like the seeds that were once buried in the tomb of Tutankhamun many thousand years ago, it shall grow and flower and bear fruit again. It is insignia of my race, and my generation is but a stage in the unending search of my people for freedom and happiness. I am a Filipino, child of the marriage of the East and the West. The S with is a languor, a domesticism, it is a passivity and endurance, was my mother, and my sire was the west that came thundering across the seas with the cross and sword and the machine. I am of the S in anger, participant in the spirit, and in its struggles for liberation from the imperialist yoke. But I also know that the S must awake from its century sleep, shake off the lethargy that has bound his limbs, and start moving where destiny awaits. For I too I am the West, and the vigorous peoples of the West have destroyed forever the peace and quiet the ones were ours. I could no longer live, being a part of those whose world now trembles to the roar of bomb and cannon shot. I cannot say of matter of universal life and death, of freedom and slavery for all mankind. That is concern me not, for no man and no nation is island, but a part of the main. There is no longer any S and West, only individuals and nation making those momentous choices with which are the hangings upon which history resolves. At the vanguard of progress in the part of the world, I stand a forlorn figure in the eyes of some, but not one defeated and lost. For through the thick interlacing branches of habit and custom above me, I have seen the light of the sun, and know that is good. I have seen the light of justice and equality, and freedom my heart has been lifted by the vision of the democracy. And I shall not rest until my land and my people shall have been blessed by this beyond the power of any man or nation to subvert or destroy. I am a Filipino, and this is my inheritance. What pledge shall I give that I may prove worthy of my inheritance? I shall give the pledge that has come ringing down the corridors of the centuries, and it shall be compounded of the joyous carries of the Malayan forebears when first they saw the contours of this land loom before their eyes, of the battle cries that have resounded in every field of combat from Mactan of Terad Pass, of the voices of my people when they sing, Land of the morning, child of the sun returning, nor shall invaders trample the scarred shore. Out of the out of the lush green of these 7,000 slaves, out of the heartstrings of 16 million people, of the vibrating to one song, I shall weave the mighty fabric of my pledge. Out of the song of the farmers at the sunrise when they go to labor in the fields. Out the out of the sweat of the hard-beaten pioneers, it malig and coronadal, out of the silent endurance of stevedores at the first and ominous grumbling of the peasant in the Pampanga, out of the first carries of babies newly born and lullabies that mothers sing, out of the crashing of the gears and the wane of the turbines in the factories, out of the church of the plow shirts upturning the earth, out of the limitless patience of teachers in the classrooms and doctors in the clinics, out of tramp of a soldiers marching, and shall make the patterns of my pledge. I am a Filipino born to freedom, and I shall not raise until freedom shall have been added onto my inheritance, for myself and my children and my children's children's forever.